kind of energy.
Oh,
like Kobe's just hitting bucket after bucket. He's going bonkers.
Yeah, like
I can't even describe it. It's just a feeling almost.
Right.
Yeah.
That's to me what bonkers means. Whether something ever comes out, probably, maybe, hopefully.
Cooper Kupp was going bonkers.
Yeah, he's going bonkers.
Yeah, very much so. Okay,
shout out Cooper.
All right, guys, welcome back to Off-Light Podcast, episode 3 today. Accompanied by my co-hosts Brandon and Bailey.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Jay.
Today we have a very near and dear friend of mine, somebody who's changed the way I look at life, the way I move, business, everything. J Alvarez.
Welcome,
up,
Jay.
The man of the hour.
Man of the hour. Good guy. Good friend.
How you doing,
man.
Jay?
I'm doing good.
You can bring up the mic to your face right there, brother.
Excited, happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Pretty close.
Pretty excited, and I'm just excited for you guys as well. You know, this is my first time actually being in a position where I can actually share my story. You know, a lot of people probably don't know about Jay, and I hope that if they do know about Jay, like they really get to know me first before before saying anything, you know. So I'm just excited to be here. So thank you.
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
dude.
man, we're excited to have you, and people are gonna see what kind of person you are just by seeing you on camera, man. You've always been good vibes for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Good teacher,
vibes.
good person to bounce ideas off of.
When he's real.
Yeah,
You know, that's hard to come by.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
and hopefully, you know, and I know it'll come across too when he's talking, and we dive it deeper into the story, learn about him. Like he's a real guy. So
Okay, guys, let's get right into it. So, Jay, let's start with your beginning, man. I know you came here from Mexico when you were 16 years old. We kind of want to get into that, kind of the beginning of Jay, who he is, where he came from. You want to get into that?
Yeah, well, pretty much I was born and raised in Mexico, you know. I grew up with my grandma, and then I always had my mom and dad. You know, I always knew that I had them, you know, but I didn't got the opportunity to grow up with them. They came to America, you know, to fight for the American dream. And, you know, a couple of years later, I got together with my mom and dad, and I was living just a normal life, you know. I didn't know any better. And I was just living my life. I went to school in Mexico, never knowing that I had a different future for myself, you know. So I was about to be 16 when my dad told us that we were coming to America, you know, and I didn't really know what he meant. I just knew that, you know, I was gonna follow my parents because, you know, we were a family. So I came when I was 16, and you know, I was really excited to start working because I wanted to make some dollars.
Yeah,
you know?
Talking about American dream right there.
And you know, everybody talks about like sweeping the money in America, you know, and you literally imagine a person sweeping money, you know. That's what I thought it was. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. You know, we got here, and then I realized that, man, like it was a different culture. You know, I didn't get to experience a lot good in the beginning, but I think not knowing the language, it really sucks. It really sucks. So for whoever like doesn't understand English and they're trying their best to get better in life, like that's really awesome. You know, that's really awesome because I did it. You know, when I came here for the first time, like, man, like I didn't know anything. You know, like I remember that I was in the school in Mexico, and they only teach you like, hi, how are you? You know, like that's pretty much it. But that was my beginning. You know. And then I got here, and then I wanted to work, and my mom and dad, they told me like I was too young to work, you know, even though the legal age I think is 16, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, like that's how I got here to the U.S.
Hey, before we go any further, so like, when you first came to America, what were like some times when you were like, whoa, it's that easy to make money, or like what was your mindset like looking at business in America, like that made it so different?
You know, in reality, bro, like I think your capacity as a person, you are who you're surround you are who you're surround with, you know. And for me, I didn't have no good examples, you know, like I always had my mom and dad that were great people, but I never understood business.
Yeah.
When it comes to money, I was just happy to make a good living, you know, like I wasn't thinking about like doing something for myself. So I think when it comes to money, like I didn't understood the concept of making money. I guess I just wanted to have a better life.
Oh, dang.
You know?
Yeah.
So, as far as your barber experience, how did you get started, and what kind of introduced you to the barbering world? By the way, he is the proud owner of Legacy Barbershop. We have 2 locations now. I'm very proud of this guy. I got to start with him from the very beginning, see everything. You've grown a lot, bro. So you kind of want to get into how you got into the barber industry?
Yeah, well, you know, when I first got here, my dream was to become a chef. I wanted to become a chef, and I love cooking. My mom owned a small restaurant in Mexico, and we used to be almost as slaves. My brother Christian, shout out to my man. Like, he knows, you know, he understands the struggle. You know, like, I think you not having a mentorship when it comes to business, like, man, like, you can just be spitting your well at the same time and just dig deeper and deeper, and you're consuming yourself. But when I got to barbering, you know, I didn't want to do barbering. I wanted to become a chef. I wanted to own my own restaurant. I wanted to just do something about the food because that was my passion. I grew up like eating my grandma's meals, and they were like the best, you know. Now my mom, they're the best, of course, but I always wanted to make my grandma proud. And because, like I said, that was the things that she influenced me about the food and all that. I just wanted to go in that field. So, you know, long story short, I go to high school, I get my credits done, and I signed up for college. And actually, when it comes to college, you know, I realized that I wanted to own a restaurant and I wanted to become a chef, but I wasn't happy with what the chef, like the income that the chef makes or for the sacrifice is not worth it. Yeah. So, but at that same time, when I was going to start college, my grandma got really sick with cancer. And then I can proudly say that I signed up for college. And I only went I think for 2 weeks, and then I quit. I quit, and then you know, I went to stay with my grandma for the last 2-3 months for her life, and she passed, you know, and I was lost. But the whole time when I was at high school, I had a friend that she will call me up. Her name is Tommy will call me up. I didn't saw the value in her cutting at all, you know, and I was in Santana, California for my first 5 years when I got here from Mexico, and literally you see haircuts for $5, $7. So I didn't see the value in hair cutting, but my best friend at that time, she was doing my haircuts for free, you know. Yeah. I would just give her a tip, and I never paid for a haircut. never, yeah. You know. So how I got into it was because I took my friend to check out the barber school, and when I took her, she still was hesitating about the school, and then the person the instructor, she came to me and she goes like, hey, are you gonna sign up? And I was like, no, I just brought my friend. And she goes like, well, why you don't sign up? And I was like, oh, I'm not good at it, you know, I never have touched a clipper, you know, I don't really know anything about hair cutting at all. And she was like, do you know that it's just a skill, you know, that by default, by you doing it, you're gonna get better. And then I was like, oh, really? She was like, yeah. And at that time, I was really, I didn't want it to be an employee. I didn't want to be working for somebody else and telling me this is how much you're going to make, or, hey, this is what hours you're going to be working. I hated that because I hated the fact that I couldn't have my parents around. I just hated the fact that people would struggle financially because that's how much they make. And I just didn't want that. So the instructor started telling me that when it came to barbering, you had an open field, that you can even be a barber, you can be an instructor, you can be a business owner, you can be an educator, you can be provide your own brand. She told me that at that point they were proud to say that that they had students making $500 a haircut in Hollywood. And I was like, no, man, that's how much my mom makes a week, you know?
That's wild, yeah.
It was one haircut, $500. And that's when I saw the value of haircutting. And then that same day, I signed up. I signed up not knowing that I was gonna be good at it. I didn't know if I was gonna actually like make it. I just did it because I didn't want to be an employee, and you're still an employee, but I wanted to make as much money I wanted to, and I wanted to work my own hours. So that's how I got into the haircutting business.
You wanted to be the boss.
Pretty much. I wanted to be the boss, and I just wanted to have a great life. So
when you started barbering, obviously I don't think Instagram was around, but were you pressured with Instagram seeing other barbers being really good and you being a beginner?
I guess no, because I never saw barbering as something that I just wanted to make a great life. I didn't care so much about what was out there. I can probably say that when I started cutting hair, I only used social media for probably like the first 6 months of my business. And then, I started getting really good at haircutting. But, it wasn't because of social media. It was because by me just being a people person. I guess like for me, social media didn't have a big impact. I just wanted to make friends when it came to haircutting. I didn't care about being the best barber around. I just wanted to be my client, be happy.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that does. I only asked that because as a new barber in this generation, you got to deal with Instagram and seeing everybody with like the cleanest cuts, the cleanest lineups, everything, and the pressure is immense. Like if you're just starting, you want to be really good, and there's like 50 other barbers that are already like completely got it nailed down, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring that up. You guys got any questions today?
Yeah, we got a few. I mean, I think circling back to your story, you talked about how you started, cutting hair in California. Maybe you talk about your trek out to Oregon, because that's where you've been living for a while, and then now you're in Washington. But maybe talk about that journey to Oregon. So
let me tell you a little bit more about the question that you asked, Arthur, and I think that's where my heart goes. When I talk about barbering, when I talk about barbering and just the blessings that this business have brought to me, it's never been because of that cleanest fade. Like never. So I think for new barbers and the people that is coming, trying to make this a career, I think they have to realize what kind of barber they want to be. For me, it was like you can be the barber that is chasing, you want to be famous, and you go for it, man. Like if you want to be famous, you go for it. But there's barbers that they just want to grow a business and just, make a living out of their business. Or there's a barber that they're always chasing the cleanest haircut, but there's no benefit to chasing the cleanest haircut. And then comparison, I think, is the biggest one, because like everybody says like, oh, you're not competing with anybody but yourself, but it's so much easier to say it than apply it to yourself. So I think knowing what kind of barber you want to be, like by default you eliminate 2 options. So for me, I wanted to be the barber that I wanted to be in the people's business. I wanted to be in the people business versus in the haircutting business. I wanted people to come to me because I didn't care about being the best barber. I care about being the best barber for my client. So I think knowing what kind of barber you want to be right away, it helps you a lot moving on. So I think that's my part of it. And then when it comes to, like moving to Oregon, I didn't have a lot of positive people telling me coming to Oregon, because they're like, man, like, what are you gonna do to Oregon? I was living in Santana, California, and they were like, I don't want to sound bad, but there were so many Hispanic people that your English like is not the greatest, So coming to Oregon, you see a lot of like people that they're born and raised here and they know the language, and you're like, what are you gonna go do down there? There's nothing like Mexican or Hispanic related. You're gonna go straight to the fields, and like my transition coming to Oregon, it was really crazy because I came in the end of 2016. So I don't know if you guys remember, but it was really bad in 2016 on this snow time.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah,
but
we had that very bad winter.
Yeah, I remember. That was a crazy year.
I think the coldest, I guess, in Santana, California is like around 50s. So coming over here, it was like a big, like, a big hit. You know, I was like, man, like this is cold. And probably like, man, like 3 months later, I just wanted to go back, you know. And just, you know, like for the first 3 months, I wasn't cutting hair. I was working for Walmart DC, and then I was working for Keystone, like making like we said the RVs.
Yep.
And that really sucked, bro. That really sucked because you go from working in a warm environment, greeting people, to go in a box.
It's a hard transition. It's a 180
was really
essentially.
hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. But I stuck around, you know. That's what I did for the beginning.
So you did those jobs for how many months again?
For like about 3 months.
You did that for 3 months. You were at Walmart DC, right?
Walmart DC.
What kind of led you back into barbering? What made you say like, hey, I'm gonna head to the I don't know if you went out and reached out to barbershops over in Oregon or if you came straight over here, but what made you want to come back to barbering?
I actually, you know, like looking back, I went and asked. I only tried 3 or 4 locations, and one in Umatilla and 3 in Hermiston. I asked them like to give me a shot, and like I said, I didn't know any better, so I didn't. I just told them like, hey, I'm looking for a chair, no people skills, no nothing, and I got rejected like 3 times. That's why I went to work for Walmart, because in the beginning I wanted to cut hair, but nobody would give me a shot, so I had to get a job just to pay my bills, you know. So what got me back to it, like I was working a job and I was done. I was like, man, like I'm done. I want to go back to California. Like I just want to be comfortable again, you know. And the whole working for somebody, like the whole idea and concept, I just hated. I hated that part of my life. So one time I met a friend at Walmart DC that she's like, hey, why you don't go to Tri-Cities? And I was like, where's that? You know, where's Tri-Cities? You're like, oh, there's this passing the river, you know, that's that's Tri-Cities.
Cross the bridge. Yeah.
Passing the bridge. And I was like, how far is it? You know? And it's like, oh, it's about 40 minutes, you know? And I was like, 40 minutes? And I was like, man, that's far. And she goes like, just go, you know, there are a lot of barbershops out there that, I made the decision to come and take those 40 minutes drive. And the first time that I came to Tri-Cities, the only thing that I was familiar with it was Starbucks. So I went straight to Starbucks and just get a coffee. That's where I got.
Yeah.
And you know.
Hey, I have a weird question, but so like, how do you guys think like the whole pandemic, coronavirus has affected barbers? Because I feel like it was an interesting time, right? Because like everything was like shut off, right? And then I feel like it had like there's like barbers who like you said, like want to have relationships. And maybe there's probably, I'm assuming, maybe you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing there's barbers that just rely on the shop to get people and are just fine doing the minimum. Did you think coronavirus shook out a lot of those people that want that?
I would say probably. To be honest, it was like a make it or break it moment for new barbers, especially because, like you're saying, you're new, so you're relying on a shop bringing in people already and giving you a shot there. And when you don't have a spot that's able to be open, you kind of got to do the footwork on your own and go find those people. For me, it made me a lot busier, so I took full advantage of it. I went and bought a chair, and Jay sent me a ton of clients that I still have to this day, and they're very grateful, great clients. And that's the way I look at it. You either took action and came up, or you just sat back and lost people. That was pretty much it. Like I got a lot of new clients just leaving their old barbers because they wouldn't even reply to their texts like, hey, what's up? Can I get a cut? You know, and I get it. Some people were being safe. People have older family they're looking out for, and you know, they're worried about. So for me, it probably really helped me, if I'm being honest. Yeah,
I mean, I remember I was gonna stick with you just because the relationship there, like we're homies and we could talk and whatnot. But yeah, I was just kind of interested about that, like new barbers, or like it's just that would suck, right?
yeah, definitely. How do you feel, Jay? You were a business owner and you still have overhead. You still have all these things going on that you got to worry about. And by the way, thank you to this guy. You know, me and his brother were brand new to the business, and I think we had another guy, shout out Leo at Icon. He was also new. Jay didn't charge any of us during that time, so you kind of want to tap into that and how that was for you. I mean, we were new at the time.
Yeah, I think now going back to the to the haircutting business, I think there's a lot going on when it came to COVID. Because for me, so going back, when I first came to Tri-Cities, one barbershop gave me a shot for 2 years and a half. I was working for this barbershop, and I didn't stay there because I was fully happy with being there. I was there because I was a grateful person, and I was grateful because they gave me that shot. And I told myself that whoever would give me a shot, I was gonna give them the best 2 years of my life to make their business better. So, long story short, 2 years and a half later, I decided to go open my own shop. And it was in 2019 when I opened my first shop. And if you guys remember, like, that was a tough year because, like, I was 7 months and a half open when COVID hit. And I remember that the shop was barely picking up because the shop had such a really bad location that everything was through referrals. So we were new, and I told my guys, like, this is a good opportunity for all of us. Because, like, I was always motivating my guys, like, hey, like, people's gonna keep coming to you not because of the best haircut, but because the relationship that you build with them. And I remember that when COVID hit, all those people, like the people that we were working so hard, like a lot of them didn't want to keep coming to a shop because of COVID. And that was a tough year. But those people that decide to keep allowing us to take care of them. Like, I remember that for those 3 months and a half that we were closed, man, I was doing house calls. I was driving to Oregon. I was driving to Sunnyside. I was driving to pretty much anywhere where my drive was 40 minutes, and I was charging $45. It wasn't a lot, but I knew that my business was brand new, and just Arthur knows, like, I never been that person that is a money hunger person. Like, I told them straight up, I told my guys, hey, just take care of you, and don't worry about me. I will make it happen. And that's how I pay my overhead for 3 months and a half that we're closed. And it was hard, but we did it. And then I remember this. You go back to the new barbers. I believe this. I believe that COVID has been such a big blessing. Mm-hmm. Because this is the thing, like, there's people that they took advantage in that time to build, not to rest, to build. Because for me, like, I didn't stop. And then when COVID passed and we reopened the shop, I was like, man, what I went through in 2016, when I went through whatever I went through in 2011 coming to America, helped me to pass my through to 2016 experience. And my 2016 experience helped me to move on in my 2019 experience. And it was hard, but, man, like, I was so grateful for those moments because it allowed me to get better. So when COVID after happened, I was like, man, like, we're such in a good spot right now, and I think for barbers, like, that moment was that was such a good moment that whoever took advantage in that time, like, they're doing so much better right now, because right now I think we're acting really good now, with the whole COVID and all that. So the shop being closed, it was an experience for everybody to go back and slow down a little bit. But for barbers, it was a making moment for them, And I think that pushed us to open the second location more than anything.
Right. It allowed for a lot of spots to open up for you, I believe, with here. Like, Travel Leaders was here before, and then they had to move out because this was probably insane overhead for them, and you can't even travel. So, it was definitely a come-up moment if you were ready for it and willing to take that leap of faith, kind of. But yeah, it's insane where we're at now. Do you want to kind of get into your new location? So we relocated that spot you said was in a terrible location in Moraine Street in Clearwater. Now you're on Kennewick Ave by what's over there? Hot Tamales right next door.
It looks good.
Casa Mia.
Casa Mia.
Big old sign. You can't miss
Jiffy
it.
Lube.
What is kind of your
Jiffy.
your vision for that place? Because I know you have a very big vision for yourself in that place. You want to
Yeah,
get into
so-
that?
Yeah, I think for when it came to opening the second location, that second location, which was this one, it was because that limited space that COVID was causing, you know. So we opened this one, and I just wanted to create a good environment for my guys and a comfortable place. But when it came to my third location, which is like right now we have 2 running, but when it came to that one, I knew that I didn't want to keep working in the barbering business. So I'm happy to say that I have a better understanding about barbering now, but I don't want to keep growing in the barbering business. So my vision for the new location is to turn into a coffee shop, and I want to do like more like a like you come to get your haircut, but also like you come and relax and just get a coffee with us.
Oh,
and
yes.
you know, like in the cold weather in the winter time, I want to have someone to bring you a coffee in your chair, you know, when you get in a haircut.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm bougie. I like that.
So that's a big plan right now for that shop. I mean, that shop is 3,000 square feet.
Right. And so for the original Legacy, you're also going to experiment with that. Do you want to get into that yet, or do you want to keep that in the background, or you want to talk about what you're trying to go from the old location to what you're trying to make it? Or do you want to keep that?
I'm gonna
keep that in the wraps.
Yo.
We'll keep
Okay,
that for
we'll keep that in
the
the
second
wraps. We'll keep that in
episode
the
with Jay.
wraps.
That's season 2.
Yeah.
That's season 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Brandon was mentioning he's known you the longest. You guys want to kind of get into your guys' relationship and how you guys met?
Yeah, how'd you guys meet?
You guys?
Well, back to your story, how you were talking about, you know, when you made the leap of faith to come up here to Washington, and the barbershop that you were working at for there. That's where I met you. So I think that was 6 years ago then.
Yes, I think it's more about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, you and me, we had this close friendship that
Right off the bat too, because actually you subbed in. So I had a barber there that I was seeing all the time, and then I came in for a walk-in, didn't have it scheduled appointment, and you were available. So I sat in your chair, and that was like one of the best haircuts I've ever had. And then that just kind of, and then just you yourself, your energy, it just blossomed from there.
You guys clicked.
You know,
Clicked.
everybody's gonna talk really good about their barbers, you know. So I don't know, Brandon.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know,
You
Brandon. No, I think Brandon has been such a big blessing on my life because through him I got to meet Jeff. Even though right now he's cheating, so Jeff, he's a great guy. You know?
Barber cheating. Let's clarify.
Yeah, clarify barber cheating.
At least he's still cheating in the family, you know.
Yeah. I don't know that's good or bad, but context.
So Jeff talks about like, man, like I have to spread out that wealth, you know,
Yeah.
and that's all that we do here, you know. We share
the
people,
love.
That's
man.
right.
Like we don't. On my personal opinion, man, I'm not a selfish guy when it comes to haircutting, man. I want to give my best clients away because I know that they're gonna trust, you know, my new barbers because I'm planning to stop cutting hair pretty soon.
Right.
Dang.
Let's.
Can I have one of your last haircuts?
What about your longtime clients though? Like,
Oh man, you see, they
Come
make it
on.
really
No,
difficult.
you can't do that. Come on, you can't.
They
do
make
that.
it really difficult, you know. But
Yeah,
that's why,
tough,
like, we
dude.
have, you know, you have to do what is best for you. you
yeah,
know,
no,
and-
definitely,
Right, for
definitely.
And if the day of tomorrow comes where I'm no longer gonna be cutting hair, hopefully, I had enough a good team, a good team that you feel comfortable with going with any of my guys, you know, and the friendship that we're gonna have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be there, you know.
Means more, anyways.
Yeah, I
End of
mean,
the
and you know, you never know. Maybe like my hands start getting like shaky, like I want to cut hair. You know, you're there, so maybe it will happen to you. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I just want to do what is best for me and for my family. So,
Yep.
hair cutting, you know, has been such a big blessing for the people that you meet. You know, like more than anything, man, like for me, it's the people that you have in your life through barbering that makes barbering a good experience.
Right. I think we kind of brushed over who made Jay who he is now, because I know you read a lot.
That was
You
how I
can't-
met you, dude. Is like the first time I sat with you, you're like, do you read, bro? Like that was the first thing you told me, and I was like, I mean,
What are some of the books that kind of changed the way you think about things, Jay?
The first book that I read was The Go Giver. that Go Giver changed my whole concept about life. And you know, like my English went from like probably a 40% understanding to 75 to 80% in a 3-year period, because I was reading before barbering. Well, when I was doing barbering, I was doing another business, and they encourage you to read, to grow yourself. So I'm no longer doing that business anymore, but I was reading a lot. I wasn't reading a lot, but I was just trying to get better, because I was reading anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes in a day. And but one book that changed my whole life was The Go Giver. And the whole concept, if you guys haven't read that book before, it teaches you about just the law of giving. So you always want to give. You're always gonna give, because by default you receive. And that's probably sounds weird and all that, but literally that's what had made Jay, is just that giving part. Like, I don't mind giving. And man, like, I believe in God. You guys don't have to believe in God, but I believe that I'm here with a purpose, and I'm here just to give and share. And if the day tomorrow I'm no longer here, I want people to look at to just talk with somebody else and be like, man, like, that guy did something good for me, because that's what legacy means. Legacy means something that lives after you die. That even though you die, your legacy is still, like, who doesn't remember Martin Luther King Jr.? Right? Like, those are their legacy keeps moving on.
Carrying on. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's that book was really good. Also, the compound effect is really good. It just talks about like doing little by little. You don't build success overnight. I think you do one step at a time, and then like just by compounding effect, like the compound effect, that if you do something little today, in 1 year it's gonna be a lot. But if you try to do a lot in 1 year at once, like, it doesn't happen. So I have read, like, I will probably say that I have read at least, I don't know, like 40 to 60 books in 3 years. And remember that my English is not that great, so I'm proud to say that I speak 3 languages. I read Spanish, I read and speak English, and then the Spanglish. Like
That's
crucial.
Yeah, no, you guys know me, and I respect a lot Arthur. Man, like, I can just say a little bit about Arthur, that Arthur have seen my lows and my highest. My brother too, Christian, he's been there for me. And man, like, I'm just blessed by the people that are surround me. So Arthur, like, Arthur, he's someone that he didn't want to listen in the beginning. But little by little, he started changing his mindset. And I never give up. I never have given up on anybody of my guys. And for Arthur, I told him, I don't want to be your short-time friend. I want to be your long-term friend. So even though when COVID was happening, Arthur was one of those guys that was still calling me to check up on me. How you doing, Jay? Is there anything that I can do for you, Jay? Do you need some money, Jay? Like, Arthur, you're being such a good friend, man. And now Arthur, he's one of my main guys that he's pretty much running the shop here in Richland.
Proud manager of Richland shop.
Yeah. He's my guy, and he's such a good helper. He helps me a lot with my business, but he leads by example, that even though, like, I'm not here, like, a lot of guys look up to Arthur because he's the man. You guys know him, like, Arthur, he's the man. Yeah. Whatever you get with Arthur is like
Arthur bonkers, man.
Arthur bonkers. That's why he's a part of this.
We push branding a lot, and Arthur, he's been such a good brand for himself, and we're just happy. We're really happy to have you here, Arthur.
Well, going off that, you taught me a lot about relationships, the power of relationships, something I totally didn't understand until I met you. And I think I don't know, like, there's no more greater power than relationships. And you taught me that by seeing the way you interacted with your clients, how you were attentive to everybody who walked in. You kind of want to go off that. Like, what made you realize relationships were super important?
I think there's a book that talks about, like, it's not about what you know, but who you know.
That's big.
And for me, like, right now we have Jeff, but without Brandon, we haven't met Jeff. And Jeff, right now, he's a blessing because he's putting all this together.
Shout out
Yeah.
Media
Shout out Media
Lab.
Lab.
Shout out
And
Jeff.
yeah, he's a man, you know. But
Did all this.
without him, we wouldn't have built that friendship, you know. But it's not about what you know, but who you know. And you never want to be as like a taker. You want to be as someone that adds value to people. So for me, I remember that. Shout out to my man, Augustine. Augustine, when Augustine knew about me having my dream about owning my business, Augustine asked me like, man, like, what is your first month of rent? And when I told him, he was like, okay, just wait for me. He runs to the car and he brings me a check.
Oh yeah.
And he gives to me,
Yes.
he gives me the check. And I was like, oh no, man, I cannot take that. He was like, no, take it. And I was like, man, also knowing how to, knowing it's good about giving, but also knowing to receive is good too. Because if you allow the other person to give you something and you receive it gratefully, you're giving them the opportunity for them to feel good. You know?
That makes sense, yeah.
That's big time.
So Augustine, he's been on my journey, but Augustine, he gave me that, and I was like, man, I'm gonna pay you back. He was like, no, just pay it forward, my man. And that's relationships, man. Like that's what allowed me to become the man that I am here today, is because like I have great people around me. So I think relationships is, you never want to judge a book for their cover.
Do you have like a team of people that you lean on, or is it the people that you work with? Like for all things, like, because I know you're into business and I want to get into like what you want to do. Like if you're going to stop barbering, right, you're going to have more free time to do like things outside of this. I don't know what those are. I'm curious, but.
So I guess when it comes to leading on people, my biggest person I think that right now I have is Augustine. Augustine, he's my man. He's a great friend, but he's a great mentor. And I admire this guy a lot. And he's a person that I can talk to and the phone or you know, in person. When it comes to business wise, I think I listen more to people that have made a difference. You know, and that my actual circle right now is my brother Arthur, Augustine, and I think right now there are my three people. I'd rather have one or two good friends than having 5 or 7 that they're not reliable.
Yeah.
So when it comes to business is not difficult. Business is actually pretty simple. I can easily say that it's really simple. Owning a business. And I think like the biggest one is just handle a stress.
Yeah.
You know, if you know how to handle stress, I think like you're gonna be good because this is stressful. And but business is easy, bro. Like you know this. I mean,
Well, I was gonna-
you do business.
I was gonna ask you though, is like one of the things I've always noticed about you is that you've always been super cool, like, or at least from when I've seen you, you've always been super cool, like have things handled with all this business stuff, like, and you say the stress. How do you balance all that out? How do you balance it all out? How do you handle all that stress?
You share it with people that they're not gonna judge you, and you share it with people that at least are gonna tell you like, I believe in you. How do you handle stress? By just having someone that you can just, because for me, I don't keep anything in the inside. I'm telling you know, the only people that I don't tell my stress is to my parents, because I don't judge my parents, man. I love my parents.
Yeah.
You're good, man.
They mean the world to me, and that's why I work so hard.
Yeah.
And when it comes to my parents, those are the only people that I don't share my stress. And with negative people, you know, people that they told me like, man, when my mom told me about my first business, she's like, mijo, si vas a poder pagar? And I pretty much like, son, are you gonna be able to pay? And I was like, yeah, mom, like I'm gonna pay, you know, like. And she just told me like, mijo, pero no crees que es mucho? Son, like, you don't think it's a lot? You know, and you expect something different from your parents. But the honest truth is you cannot judge them. You cannot judge your parents for something that they haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's what I did. So knowing who to share with, knowing who to talk about your problems is really good. So for me, my brother Arthur, like I said, I don't have a lot of friends because now what I thought was hard 2-3 years ago, now it's like, for me, it's like, it's not hard,
Yeah.
you know? And I don't own like $1 million company right now, even though I know that it's going to happen. I know that I don't own one, but this is preparing me for the future. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
And you're killing it, dude.
yeah,
Not a lot of people
we're
can
happy.
do what you do.
That's awesome, man. We don't like negative people, man. We don't like negative people, negative mindsets. It's something I always talk to my friends about is like,
Right.
Not thinking of the negative of any situation. It's tough sometimes, right? But if you want to get stuff done, you don't think of the problems that could arise. You think of the ways that you can make something happen, right? And so same thing with people with negative mindsets. I try not to keep them around either, and just keep it family, keep it close group.
Yeah, because like this is one of the things that I have noticed as in myself. I want to have a person next to me that is gonna. Have you guys ever heard about that phone works in both ways?
Yeah, exactly.
If a friend only texts you when they need something, they're not your friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm really sorry to say that, but like no.
You don't have to be sorry to say that. It's real. I mean, right?
Yeah. Transparent.
We all have
For sure.
priorities, right? There's priorities everyone has, and you decide what's priority to you. And if it's not getting in contact with me, checking up, helping out, just being there, being a human with someone else, then it's not a priority. You don't want to waste your time on that, right?
You don't. I mean, life is too short. Life is too short, and I keep going back and forth all the time about like problems. There's a lot of problems that they're not problems, that they're just experiences. And almost everything has a fix.
Yeah.
So even with friends, like I think friends is really hard to find.
Yeah.
Friends are really hard to find, but when you find one, you better keep him.
Yep.
And that's how I felt with you guys. So when you guys brought me to this project that you guys have, I remember talking to Arthur, because you guys were talking for a bit.
For a while.
We talked about it for a while.
Yeah.
For a while, right?
Yeah,
And when I see you, I see Arthur. When I see Bailey, like mainly with Arthur, I was talking about like, what is the end goal? What is the vision that you guys have for it? What is the things that you guys want to communicate in this journey and this new project? Because that matters with anything that you do in life. Like, you have to know what are you trying to put out there. You have to know, because if you don't know, you kind of just being like a chicken with a head cut off,
Right.
like just running everywhere.
No direction.
So you guys are making such a big impact. Like for me, like I said right now, I'm not nervous, but there's a lot that I would like to share, but there's only so much that really matter, so I can honestly say that I'm really proud of you guys for stepping up and doing something, because it's really easy to say I want to do something, and another thing is like I'm going to do something, and another thing is actually doing it.
Right.
And you guys are doing it. So I'm really proud of you guys, Bailey, Arthur, and you, Brandon.
Yeah, and Cameron. Can't forget Cameron and Jeff.
And Cameron and Jeff.
Media Lab.
But no, you.
Yeah, but
hit the nail on the head right there too. We were just talking about that earlier.
I'm proud
Had a
of you
plan
guys.
of action,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about it.
It's
Feedback.
Yeah,
we
we
accept it, but
we've been thinking about it for a long time, right? And one of those things that we had was like the limiting beliefs of like, you got to schedule time, you got to figure out production, you got to figure out what your goal is going to be, and then something I think a little bit differently on, maybe you think the same, I don't know, but is like, we just started though, right? We just started. We didn't have like a written statement of like what we stand for. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to just start and kind of find that purpose maybe a little bit later on. And I feel like it's something that kind of applies to business or going to school or getting a certification or something. Sometimes you just got to start. The vision doesn't always have to be so clear at the very beginning. But it's been fun. It's been fun learning and just talking to people that are supportive and whatnot and just want to see us do well. So it's been good, man. And we're happy to have you on episode 3.
episode 3. Yeah, no doubt.
No, I know. Oh, you guys are practicing with me. You know, like, I'm just really happy that you guys allowed me to share a little bit about my story, and hopefully 2 years from now we can go back and talk a little bit more about the things that have changed. And
yeah, we'll
yeah.
definitely have you back on when you get the coffee shop up and going. Any projects you got going on. I think for many of our guests, they're gonna be, you know, upgrading whatever they're doing, and we want them back on to keep telling us what their story and what their direction is going towards, because that's interesting. You know, we live in a kind of small town. I guess it's kind of getting big now, and it's cool to hear from everybody here, all the entrepreneurs, like hearing what they're trying to do here, something different, something new. And I think the Tri-Cities is a perfect spot to experiment. You know, we're new.
Yeah, we're new, but we're growing. Like, business is booming. Every industry, it's wild. Small business, corporations. So,
no, it's gonna be good. I think Tri-Cities is amazing. You get all kinds of people, but I think everybody here supports each other. And I think what makes Tri-Cities as strong is that culture that we have within us is really, really good. You know, so I know you guys gonna do great. So,
Hey, what do you do for fun, man? Do you go to the jalapenos or what?
you know, even though like I'm Mexican, Hispanic, and all that, like I don't really like that.
You don't like
know?
that? You're not chilling?
No.
you
he
know?
wants to go back to divots.
Oh, divots. That was
That was a
cool.
good time.
You like divots?
The golf thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we
that's
get the
good.
owner from there.
Yeah, divots.
Um,
You know, we might have to
Reach out on
set something
Instagram.
up. We could film it there. That'd be cool.
You know, it's actually this is gonna sound you know, kind of different, but you know, for me, what I do for fun is just to spend time with my mom and dad, with my brothers. That's what I do for fun. 6 days a week, I think I'm always working. But it's not good. It's not bad work though. Everything that I do, I feel good. You know, I don't have no regrets, because man, like by like 2-3 years from now, like I'm not gonna be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be in such a good spot. So for fun, I just spend time with my family, with my mom, dad, and that's what I do besides working. You know.
We got any more questions, fellas?
I don't have any other questions.
No. Yeah, I think we're
No?
good.
All right, we'll call
You're
it
the man,
good
Jay.
there.
Yeah, you
Jay,
are,
we
man.
appreciate you for taking the time out of your day today on this beautiful Sunday. You're a very busy man, so we thank you for being on our third episode. We're proud of you. Let's give a round of applause
Yes,
for
sir.
Jay,
Yes,
guys.
yes.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, Alvarez Legacy.
We appreciate you, and thank you to all the followers, subscribers. We appreciate it. What was that? Oh, and do one of you guys want to do that?
Yeah, so there's a flight promotion, 10% off. Just go to the server there at Flight Tap and Table. Let them know, hey, I watch Off Flight podcast all the time, every day. They're gonna give you a 10% discount. on
You got to
your
show
beer.
you're subscribed, though.
Yeah, you gotta show a little check mark, subscribe. So, yeah, do that if you want some beer.
Thank you guys.
And
Thank
good
you,
eats.
guys.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you,
much.
man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
You know,
I tried, brothers.